evening and welcome to ABS TV News. Making the headlines tonight, state government to partner investors to boost production of raw materials. Bill for the establishment of Anambra State House of Assembly Service Commission passes second reading. Anambra State Police arrest operator of illegal arms reassembling plant. And on the foreign scene, at least 79 persons confirmed dead in a wildfire around Athens. My name is Chidiba Oramwa. You're welcome to the news. State government says it will partner prospective investors to boost production of spices for both consumption and exports. Governor William Beno stated this shortly after an inspection tour of a food production company at Obosi in Idemili North local government area that is seeking more partnership with the state government. Government House correspondent Ejika Abada tells us more.
Governor Beno, who spoke through his deputy, Dr. Nkemokeke, said that from what he saw on ground, the company is committed to its services, promising that government will strive to engage farmers in the state to grow the raw materials needed for its production, as it will be of immense benefits. The governor noted that the state government needs more investors to improve its internally generated revenue.
I'm really impressed what you're doing here, the passion that you seem to have, and what you're doing. The knowledge, expertise that you have, listen to you explaining things, you're hands-on. You're hands-on, you understand your business and you know exactly where you want to take it to.
Earlier, the Commissioner for Agriculture, Mechanization, Processing and Export, Mr. Afam Mbanefo, disclosed that the state government hopes to commence with 100 hectares of land at Ndike and Ubuenu communities. Mr. Mbanefo, who said that Tiger Foods has investment interest in chili pepper, turmeric, local basil and vegetable, noted that partnering it has economic, social and political impact and benefits.
When we work that out, besides with all our farmers, look at the potentials that we could do for him to develop that. We actually came up showing that if he's under full capacity production, that he'll be needing about 21 hectares a day.
The Managing Director of Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, Mr. Jide Ikako, expressed the agency's readiness to explore new frontiers of opportunities with the company. The Managing Director of Tiger Foods, Mr. Don Ebubogo, appealed to the state government to help in identifying communities where such commodities can be grown and make people cultivate them, pointing out that it is cumbersome for them to cultivate, process and export at the same time.
One thing about Morocco, and the time is that their time grows wide. Nobody's cultivating it. It grows everywhere in the mountain, in the valleys. So what you do is just to go and get a license from the government to go and harvest.
From Obosi, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
A bill for a law to provide for the establishment of Anambra State House of Assembly's Service Commission has scaled second reading at the floor of the State House of Assembly in Oka. The bill has Mr. Chubo Enwezo, represented on the North constituency, one as its major sponsor. House of Assembly correspondent Chikwemeka Modelim was there and sent in this report.
According to Mr. Enwezo, the bill seeks to give a legal backing to Anambra State House of Assembly Service Commission and empower the legislature to operate independently as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution. The lawmaker explained that with the bill, the three arms of government will function independently as it will enhance the principles of separation of powers as stipulated in the Constitution.
Granting the second, third paragraph of the motion, depicted a very pathetic situation. The book of this motion, said that if other activities they were decaying seriously, that has almost led to total collapse of academic activities in the convention. Such a situation is certainly worrisome. If learning activity has collapsed, has ceased, it means that people in that school are being subjected to inhuman treatment.
On his part, the member representing Njikoka Constituency 2, Dr. Pete Ibida, expressed happiness that the 6th Assembly has written its name in gold through a bill that will enable the legislature discharge its constitutional duties without fear or favor, while his Anambra East constituency counterpart, Chief Obinna Emeneka, described it as a history-making bill that will strengthen democracy in Nigeria. In his contribution, the Majority Leader, Chief Victor Okoye, emphasized that the bill, when passed, will give Anambra State House of Assembly financial autonomy and empower its commission to employ staff of the State Assembly and discipline them, as well as spell out the responsibility of administrative staff of the House. Others who spoke in favor of the bill were Dr. Nnamdi Okafor, representing Oka South Constituency 1, his Idemili South counterpart, Mr. Chuka Ezenwune, the member for Njikoka Constituency 1, Dr. Tim Ifedioramma, the member representing Agwata Constituency 1, Dr. Ikechkume, and Mr. Romanus Obi, representing Orumba North Constituency. The Speaker, Barrister Rita Madoagwu, described the bill as apt. The bill was later referred to House Services Committee to make amends where necessary and report back to the House within 2 weeks.
The Commissioner for Trade and Commerce, Dr. Christian Madabuka, says the ministry remains resolute in getting rid of licensed revenue collectors in the state. Dr. Madabuka disclosed this in his office when briefing the ABS on the arrest of a fake revenue collector, Mr. Chidiebere Oswa, who allegedly specializes in issuing forged government receipts and siphoning the funds into his private account. Correspondent Daniel Ezigwe has more. I apologize for that mix-up. Newi Diocese of the Anglican Communion has called on the federal government to increase its funding to the health sector to ensure effective healthcare delivery across the country, calling for effective implementation and expansion of the scope of National Health Insurance Scheme in the country. In a communique issued at the end of the second session of its 8th Synod at St. Jude's Church, Orifite, in Ekwusigo local government area, the diocese called for adherence to the 15% annual budget agreed in the African Union Declaration in Abuja in 2001 in financing healthcare development to make indigent citizens have access to better Medicare and facilities at affordable costs. It commended the recent move by the National Assembly to amend the Constitution and Police Acts with a view to creating state and community police to confront the security challenges facing the Nigerian nation, and applauded the federal government for the reintroduction of history as an independent subject in both basic and junior secondary schools in the country, which it noted will enable the students know their roots. It condemned the call by the federal government of various states to donate hectares of land for the establishment of cattle colonies, adding that cattle rearing should be seen as a private enterprise. The Synod, which has its theme as forgiveness, the hallmark of Christian faith, challenged Nigerians to imbibe the virtue of forgiveness to save the country from divisions and violent conflicts, just as it commended Governor Willie Obiano for restoring the people's confidence in governance, and called on the Anambra to continue with their support for enhanced development of the state. The communique, which was signed jointly by the Bishop of Newi Diocese and Archbishop Ecclesiastical Province of the Niger, Most Reverend Godwin Okbala, and Clerical Synod Secretary Venerable Roland Obikobe, cautioned those seeking elective positions against politics of hate and name-calling. Join us again after this timeout.
smartphone network.
Glad to have you back on the news. 72-year-old Benjamin Obi has been apprehended for suspected running an illegal arms reassembling plant at Uli Ihiala local government area. Equiajide filed in the report taken from our studios.
Commissioner of Police Garba Umar, who briefed journalists on the development, items recovered from the suspect include 1 Beretta pump action gun, 84 assorted single and double barrel guns, 10 live cartridges, and other tools used in servicing guns. Commissioner Garba Umar said the increasing rate of cult activities at the Uli Ihiala axis may not be unconnected to the existence of the local arms plant in the area. He urged residents in the area to always report illegal or suspicious activities in their localities to assist the police in its fight against criminality, just as he cautioned criminals to desist from such despicable acts.
We recorded the highest number of cultism within that area. So which means the blacksmith, the manufacturer, the specialist is the one encouraging this youth to go and kill each other, because cultism in that axis of Uli and Ihiala is becoming alarming.
However, the suspect, Mr. Obi of Umuamoli, who was arrested alongside his 3 sons, Chukwudi, Tochukwu, and Cheta, said he is a blacksmith and belongs to an association of hunters whose members repair their faulty guns in his workshop. He claimed to also repair guns for vigilante groups and security men, as against the charge that he does it for cultists and armed robbers.
I'm a member of Anambra Hunters Association. I have the headquarters in Anambra. And the Anambra Hunters Association is the ID card and the certificate federal. Hello base, hello branch.
Do you only service or do you produce guns? You only service guns or do you produce too?
I service guns, even for security members. Then I service for them.
Do you produce or you just service?
The way you can see these new sticks that I read. When it breaks, I will change the stick for them and paint it. That's how I do.
One of the suspect's sons, Chukwudi, said he was a shoe seller in Nyanya area of Abuja, but came home for the burial of one of their relations before he was arrested, while Tochukwu claimed he was a welder elsewhere in Uli, only to be arrested when he returned from work and was taking his bath. However, police suspected the siblings to be cultists. In Oka, Equiajide, ABS News.
For business news, over now to Blessing Uchendu.
The federal government has provided a breakdown of how the new national carrier, Nigerian Air, would be funded, stating that it would provide $55 million upfront grant in order to ensure the takeoff of the airline this year. The government also stated that it was not paying $300 million for 5% stake in the airline, adding that $300 million was the entire cash flow funding requirements of the carrier for a 3-year period. Responding to social media questions raised about the national carrier, which was unveiled last week in London, the Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, explained that the funding requirements for the airline were in stages. He said the $8 million represents startup capital for offices that is required for the takeoff, but $300 million is the entire airline cash flow funding requirements, aircraft, operations, and working capital for 3 years, 2018, 2019, and 2020. This funding can be in the form of equity or debit. The financial model estimates cash flow requirements as follows: 2018 $55 million, 2019 $100, and 2020 $145 million.
This business news is brought to you courtesy of Ezebo Microfinance Bank Limited, formerly Umudioka Community Bank, Afigo Market, Umudioka.
And still moving on, President Muhammad Buhari on Wednesday inaugurated a former Inspector General of Police, Ms. Leo Smith, as the new chairman of the Police Service Commission. The inauguration took place at the Council Chamber of the Presidential Villa, Abuja, shortly before the commencement of the weekly meeting of the Federal Executive Council. Smith is taking over from another former Inspector General of Police, Mike Okiro. President Buhari also inaugurated other members of the commission. They include Clara Ogungbi from the Northeast. Representing the digital community, retired AIG Lawal Bawa from Northwest, representing the police community, Mohammed Najatu from Northwest, representing women on the commission, Brimo Austin from the South-South, representing the media community, Romy Momo from North Central, representing human rights, and Dr. Nkemka Jumbo Ofo from Southeast. The president also inaugurated Festus Okoye as a National Electoral Commissioner in the Independent Electoral Commission, representing Southeast. And from the foreign scene, Greek authorities said at least 79 people have died in huge wildfires around Athens. This is despite the fact that rescuers are searching scorched homes and burnt-out cars for survivors of one of the deadliest fire outbreaks in Europe's modern history. Scores of locals and holidaymakers fled to the sea to try to escape the flames as they tore through towns near Athens, struck by 100 km/h wind gusts, devouring woodland and hundreds of buildings. Greek media have described the disaster as a national tragedy, while Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras cut short a visit to Bosnia and announced 3 days of national mourning. Terrified residents and tourists were overtaken by the flames in homes, on foot, or in their cars. The charred bodies of 26 people, including small children, were discovered at a village at the seaside resort of Mela, 40 kilometers northeast of Athens. Rescuers said. Mayor of Rafina, Evangelos Brunos, said Mati no longer exists, adding that more than 1,000 buildings and 300 cars had been damaged. A quick reminder that you can follow news and programs from any parts of the world by logging onto our website, www.ebsradiotv.com, and also like us at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And now the recap of the news again. State government is to partner investors to boost production of raw materials. The bill for the establishment of the Anambra State House of Assembly Service Commission has passed second reading. Anambra State Police Command has arrested an operator of illegal arms reassembly plants. And on the foreign scene, we reported that at least 79 persons have been confirmed dead in a wildfire around Athens. And that's it on the news. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Chidima Oranwa. Have a wonderful night rest.